The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The ego is not master in its own house. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. The first requisite of civilization is that of justice. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or the deepest despair. The goal of all life is death. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Time spent with cats is never wasted. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. Everywhere I go, I find a poet has been there before me. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. A man should not strive to eliminate his complexes, but to get into accord with them. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. One is very crazy when in love. Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another. Illusions commend themselves to us because they save us pain and allow us to enjoy pleasure instead. We must therefore accept it without complaint when they sometimes collide with a bit of reality against which they are dashed to pieces. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. The madman is a dreamer awake. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. Where ID is, there shall ego be. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. Life is not easy, and the sooner we understand and accept that fact, the better equipped we are to deal with the challenges it presents. It is impossible to escape the impression that people commonly use false standards of measurement, that they seek power, success, and wealth for themselves and admire them in others, and that they underestimate what is of true value in life. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. Neurosis is the inability to tolerate ambiguity. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming that which the wicked man does in actual life. When you are a mother, you are never really alone in your thoughts. A mother always has to think twice, once for herself and once for her child. One day in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water.